It now gives me great pleasure to welcome Honorable Minister Meenakashi Lekhi, Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Government of India, for a keynote address. The Honorable Minister is a two-time Member of Parliament and has been a member of numerous parliamentary committees. She served as the chairperson of the Committee of Privileges, Committee on Public Undertakings, and Joint Committee on the Personal Data Protection Bill 2019. She has represented India at UN Women and Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians Working Group. She has also participated in the G20 Culture Ministers Meeting 2021. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure to be here. A little tied up with local politics. We have some elections on in the city of Delhi. So apologies for that, for not keeping the time. But the subject which was given to me was digital public goods and Government of India. We just heard what the Deputy Prime Minister of UK had to say about India and Indian government. But I must say that on behalf of my own government and the kind of transformation which India has been part of in past 7-8 years is a lesson indeed, not just to us who are part of governance, but also to several other countries who wish to govern their countries better. And why I'm saying this, it's not coming as a handing down of information, but it is the sheer volume of how we have transformed and changed our policies. And when we say that we stand for inclusion and not exclusion, we mean every word of it. Because all our policies, all our system in terms of equitable applications, just society, weaning away corruption, so on and so forth, digitization has been one of the major bubble breaker, if I may use the word, because the systems, the governance systems, operate themselves in silos. So more interconnectivity helps us break, if I may again use the word apartheid, digital apartheid. That's what India has achieved in past 7 years. And I can very confidently say that we are second to none when it comes to application of technology. And Prime Minister categorically mentioned that India stands for two pillars of governance. One is, of course, technology and talent. And I'm adding a third aspect of that, technology, talent, and transformation. So technology and talent which India possesses has actually showcased how the transformation can happen. And just to give one example, that when India digitized itself, is the first imprint came in the form of Aadhaar. So Aadhaar got converted into jam session, which meant Jan Dhan accounts, because economy had a very important aspect, and that was banking facility and banking system. And since holding computers and carrying computers itself was getting tough and difficult and non-operational in many ways, so we linked it to mobile. So we jump-started our inclusive process, or process of inclusion. So JAM meant Jan Dhan accounts, banking facility for those who were marginalized and were not even part of the main banking system. We opened 43 million or more than that accounts in 4 months, 4 months period. So 43 million bank accounts linked to their Aadhaar, that means the person's identifiable, along with the mobile number so that it's a safe system, and individual imprints you will find. So JAM became a system of handing out the welfare systems or welfare processes and reaching out through the JAM system. And this Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and mobile linkages helped us to wean away a lot of corruption. If I can share some data and detail, you'll be happy to learn that 430 million people, 430 million accounts were opened in last 7 years, and 690 million rupee cards with 1.3 billion transactions in 2020. This is the kind of application of technology. These numbers you don't get to see anywhere else in the world. And UPI, which is our unified payment system, or unified payment infrastructure, has had 4.2 billion transactions in November 2021, which today stands at more than 6.3 billion transactions. 1.5 million railway tickets get purchased or get booked almost every day. And 300 million invoices get uploaded on the GST system. FASTag for the toll-free transaction at the highways. 1.3 billion seamless transactions is what takes place. And PM Swanidhi has given small credit to a whole lot of vendors across the country. And e-rupee has enabled target delivery systems. I have shared these numbers because I truly want the globe to know what India stands for. And like any government in the world, I think when we say job of a government is to govern better. And whatever it takes, you need to reach out to the unreached, inclusive approach towards marginalized, helping people with ease of doing business. So you are balancing out various aspects of governance. So one is reaching out, two is doing away with corruption, three is ease of doing business, time-bound facilities, and that's what we today stand for. At a municipal level, I must share with you that just the municipality of Delhi, which is a city, we have about 3 crore people coming and going out of the city on daily basis, and about 2 crore residents. And small thing which everybody needs in everyday life, birth certificate, registration of death, and a mutation of property because you're buying and selling constantly. All that is done through electronic method, and thus you have, and even earlier, I'm born in this city, so you could only get 3 copies of your birth certificate. Now 3 copies, one copy can get lost, one you may have given in your school admission, the second you may have given in your college admission, and third copy you don't know where it is lying. Now when these problems happen in one human being's life cycle, today the same birth certificate is available through electronic methodology. You can take as many colored printouts as you want. Small thing, but ease of doing business has impacted every citizen of Delhi. Death certificate, same thing. One, you may need to operate the locker of your parent. The second, you may need to operate some case or showcase or be party to a case in the court. And third, you may need for a bank account, and you may need multiple copies of that death certificate. With just having this facility of taking as many printouts as possible, it has changed the way we approach governance at the local and municipal level. So I think the lesson to be learned for us, along with everybody else, is that in Hindi we say, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. That is taking everyone together and taking everyone forward. That's what digital public goods stand for so far as India is concerned. And it is being led from the front by our Prime Minister, who is very, very tech savvy and is also involved in day-to-day governance processes. From banking facility to RuPay card to having it accepted. So first purchase, for example, when this RuPay card started, happened in Singapore, where he made a purchase of a Madhubani painting through his RuPay card. So that particular system, which is having your own financial services, but getting it accepted and linking it to other countries. Now UAE accepted that Bhutan was the other country. France is the latest country. And I travel to many other countries who are very keen to work with UPI system and RuPay card. 195 countries are accepting 162 countries or 95 countries are accepting RuPay card, and that is a win-win situation for everyone. Close to 60% transactions in India have transferred to RuPay card. And I must share what all negative things which were going on, which we have corrected through this. There was, with this linkage of Aadhaar and DBT, we have exposed close to 3.5 crore fake accounts who were getting LPG connections. So these people were not there, but still getting, that is 3.5 crore people who were getting government subsidy when they did not deserve so. Then we had 2.5 lakh fake organizations. So organizations which were non-functional, non-operative, but were existing, 2.5 lakh such organizations were exposed due to this connectivity. 2 crore fake Manrega cards. So Manrega is a scheme which government use very well for the people who are daily wages. And at times when the work is not around, government offers them benefits and gets them to be employed at the ground level in rural area. 2 crore such fake Manrega card holders were discovered because of this linkage. 6 lakh fake midday meal. Now, even in midday meal, which government offers to children in school, and the beneficiaries of midday meal scheme in school, close to 6 lakh fake numbers were discovered, and they were weaned off. Similarly, 80,000 fake teachers existed, which have been taken off the roll. 1.6 crore fake ration cards. Now, ration card, I must explain to the global audience, is Government of India's scheme which during Corona, when people say, how have you transferred money into the hands of people who lost their jobs because of COVID-19 pandemic, and how inflation was controlled. So this was an effort of Government of India, which is a ration card, below poverty line or poverty line people who are given free ration, free meals, and free food subsidy. So close to 1.6 crore fake ration cards were discovered. Now these people, these cards were going into the wrong hands, which were discovered. So why I'm quoting this? I'm quoting this that the implementation of Digital India is not an exclusionary process. It is not a process that you have to be tech savvy to understand what technology is. But it is the application of technology to a common man's benefit. And it is this usage which can give governance both its care and nurture attitude, along with the teeth that where you need to come heavy on certain people who are holding fake cards and doing fake activities can also be taken to task. So it's serving the purpose of good governance. Good governance is reaching out to the unreached and handling the people who are pilfering the system. And that's what technology has been all about. Along with the fact, I must say that the Government of India follows two principles. One is Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, mainly that as a person who's representing Ministry of External Affairs, I emphasize this, that world is one big family, and together we can take the world forward by holding each other's hand, supplying technology, helping with the solutions, because we have experimented and we have reached here, and that can be a tablet for developing nations. That's what India stands for. The other principle which we follow locally is Antyodaya. Antyodaya means reaching out to the last person in the last row. So last person is what governments need to think of. And thus, the future of the country and future of the world depends on reaching out to the unreached. So if we combine these two principles, we would make world a happy place to work in and live in. And COVID-19 oft repeatedly showcased to the world that how apartheid of different nature or different forms exist in our world in global times, and how we have misused, rightly or wrongly, certain powers in not collaborating, but in segregating the systems. And I think that's where digital connectivity, India's experiment, stand a good state in campaigning for the world's benefit. I must also mention that when it comes to technology and transformation, the technology and transformation has been exhibited in many forms. We started with, in terms of public goods, say DigiLocker. DigiLocker offers 430 odd types of documentation which can be stored. And DigiLocker is available free of cost. No country in the world is doing that. We are the only ones who are offering these services free of cost. And that's an example which can be replicated. In terms of, we call it INCOIS, which is Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. Now, this is Digital Ocean. Digital Ocean offers these maritime services to everyone. And that operates under Science and Technology Department of India. And that is where we are saying that when we talk about digital public goods, the digital public goods, I think we are a big example of how countries and United Nations and the world needs to come together and work. Last but not the least, I hope my time, I do have 1 minute or so? Okay, I'll be concluding. So I was coming to UN and other countries collaborating effort. That is about, as I use the word, apartheid in many forms. I must bring to the notice that when it comes to the rights to use software, IPRs, when we are talking of things which are so-called digital goods, I think we all need to relook at those aspects for making world a more inclusive place. While technology is a way digital of earning money and digital economy, but technology is also a way to reach out to the unreached. And that's where balanced approach is what we need. And I must offer Indian solution, which happened during COVID, when we were administering and running one of the biggest vaccination drive in the world. We used a platform called CoWIN. Many interested groups raised their eyebrows, created ruckus, but this was an open source platform, and the services of this platform were offered to the countries which could not develop their own system, but we offered it to the world free of cost, because we wanted every country to get the benefit of technology which India has developed. And that's where we wanted people to use this system also, which is an open source system, to benefit and run their vaccination campaigns. So from Jan Dhan accounts to CoWIN to DigiLocker to INCOIS to Navik, we've showcased what technology can do and how transformation of the world can happen. With these words, thank you very much. Jai Hind.